There we go. Okay. Connection is not that good in here. We'll pray to the angels. All right, Jacinta.
Do you see me in the waiting room?
I hit admit.
Okay.
There you go. And now, trying to find you as a participant. And more, you are now a co-host. So, if you look at I'm going to do that perfect stillness. Perfect stillness. And I think so we're looking at the grace is the breath. Did we say that yesterday?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what the experience brings. Oh, there's the rest of it. I got a breath for you. Also need to find the, be careful what I'm saying. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will let you unmute and admit everybody. Right, all right. Let's get these systems going here. Let's get everything. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, y'all. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Life, life, life. How's everyone doing today? All right. Just going to go ahead and settle in. Come sitting nice and tall with that beautiful spine of yours. Feel as though your crown reaches into the center of creation, like your whole body is, as you sit on earth, your whole body is part of space. Let the breath be nice and easy as we draw ourselves into this moment. Draw ourselves into being present. Yeah. Because that is where we dwell in our authentic space, receiving the energy of our birthright. That energy, feel it coming in, the energy of your prana, that life force that allows you to be alive, to experience nature, to experience life. And then there is consciousness that allows you to be aware of that experience of life. So let's sit for a moment. And this is somewhat of a love mission to be in the moment and sense the beginning. There is an aspect of Zen that I've been learning about, of always being in the beginning, feeling that energy of newness, almost like the wonder of a child, never taking life too serious, even though we have some abilities to respond to, right? We have some responsibilities to take care of. Can we do it without letting it become too serious? Is there always available to us the grace? Come on now, that grace. As you allow the breath to flow, just hear the sound of it. To allow the receiving of grace. That energy that fortifies and nourishes, takes care of us without us having to do something for it, without having to pay for it, exchange something for it. It's just part of our birthright, part of living. So let's breathe deeply, softly, but completely. Never forcing the breath. And if you're on your cycle of pregnant, you just breathe into the spaces that are comfortable in terms of expanding and contracting. Hear the sound of the breath. Because the sound, according to the Middle Eastern mystic, the sound is enlivening, the sound. It has a silent potency. Allow yourself to just feel the sound of the breath. as we take time to still ourselves and prepare for our time together, let's also have a macrocosmic awareness that we are preparing ourselves to be in that oneness with our Creator, with the origin of our being, where we can observe the ability to transmute fear into grace, anxiousness, anxiety into grace. These unbalanced ways of experiencing the moment into grace. Meaning, as you take that inhale, feel this energy that comes to all of us, and yet it is so abundant that none of us has to worry like we might worry about money. So if there are any money worries, let's let them melt into grace, knowing that the infinite capacity of the universe can deliver us exactly what we need, the same way it is delivering the prana and consciousness through the breath. Yeah, and that's our journey, our path today. It's transforming that fear of not getting something that we need, like money or food, shelter, these worries that are out there. Let's allow them to transform into grace simply by focusing on the breath. So that's our path today, transforming fear, fear of not getting what we need, the fear of what might happen, fear of what might not happen, melting all of that into grace. Grace being that birthright. So we're going to take a look at what we've been given so we can focus on the feeling of abundance. Then we'll move into a process that deepens that, quiets the mind so that we can deepen into the understanding and feeling of that abundance. And then we'll go to a Q&A, or we'll see what unfolds in that section of town. But for now, let's bring the palms together. Last week, we tuned in with the Creator's name, Abun. This week, we're going to tune in with the sound current that emerged out of pure consciousness and prana. The sound AUM. Oh, really feel that U. Feel it draw on your navel point. Feel the power of that vowel as you experience the power of the A. And feel the energy of the ah. Feel it and how it vibrates you. And then really give time to the M, right? Mammary glands, mother, right? This energy that nourishes, brings that nourishment. When we make that M sound, we begin to vibrate the cranium. It goes up into the frontal cortex, right? So we're vibrating those creative centers that can awaken us to the feeling of abundance, because we can awaken the imaginative faculties, move out of survival mode by consciously using the breath and generating sound. Yes? Okay. And as we chant, feel the thumbs in the sternum pressing lightly, just enough so that you can sense the vibration of the bones as you consciously now vibrate your being. Yes, and that's what we're going to get into, this concept of being unconscious and the concept of consciousness as it's connected to the mind, right? This is something else to be aware of. Okay, palms are pressing. This is a balancing mudra. Let me just jot down that message. The mind, consciousness, unconsciousness, and the breath. Okay. Pressing the palms together. Let's inhale and synchronize our breath. Exhale. And we'll chant the Aum all on one breath. Give each letter attention. Inhale. Aum. Aum. Allowing the sound to flow. Oh, feel that M vibrating up the front of the cranium. Oh, feel the mouth articulate each sound, the A, the U, the M, vibrating this pure emanating sound of consciousness. Oh, consciousness and prana vibrating into life. Draw on this abundant source. Oh. Oh. Om. 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 Feel the U draw on the navel point, drawing it up into the M. Oh. Om. Last one. Oh. Inhale deeply. Hear the sound of that breath. Hold it. Now lift the muscles of the pelvic floor as long as you're not on your cycle or pregnant. Feel the drawing up of the muscles of the pelvic floor. Feel yourself as a vibratory container. Exhale. Sense the stillness. Sense the moment of beginning. As the story is given to us in the healing teachings of Ayurveda out of the ancient texts, prana and consciousness abided in a pure stillness. representing two energies, but existing as one. This is what we remember. We may experience challenges, hard times, difficulty, but we are one with the life force that gives us the ability to create solutions to the difficulty, answers to the problems, which brings a deep activation of creativity, the sound emerged out of the stillness. I am one, I want to become many. True creative essence emerges and the vibration is born. Have a sense of that beginning. That the challenging experiences you may face in no way is the end. It is simply part of the flow, just like the breath. From inspiration to expiration, right? From being inspired to letting it go, expiring, letting it go. So sense where you need to release and end certain ways of thinking, being, and doing. Maybe believing. In that behavior, certain actions that need to be released. Feel that inhale after the exhale. Feel the beginning and what is important for you to embrace, activating in your life now. And maybe you have hesitated for one reason or another. As you come to the top of the inhale, feel the ending of that inhale and the release now returns. The opportunity to expire. Even in your respiratory physiology, you are releasing carbon dioxide gas and other gaseous waste that is no longer needed. Join in the intelligence of your physiology and release. Have a feeling of releasing what you no longer need. To engage in as a thought, to engage in as a behavior. Release it. To engage in as a feeling or an emotion that no longer serves you. As you come to the bottom of the exhale, feel the beginning of inspiration. That thought, that feeling of inadequacy, maybe the feeling of fear, that it had a purpose. As you release it, now it gets reborn. It rebirths itself as inspiration for an activity that might be, ooh, I need to focus more on breathing. Ooh, I need to practice my vocal exercises. Ooh, it births into something. What is that action, behavior, thought, feeling as it expires? What is it transforming into? What is it rebirthing into? So just sit with this for a moment as a meditation. As you exhale, you're letting go. As you inhale, you're using the fertilizer of what you released, the compost, to step into a creative awareness of what you have the opportunity to create. And that is where we go from fear to grace. Take a moment to listen. Okay. Take a moment to write anything down that may be really important to remember. Just take a minute. Mm. All right, family. If wrap it up if you were writing. So wonderful to be here with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Wednesday sacred session, our sacred circle where we gather in the name of love to be empowered by the experience of life. And we empower ourselves by consciously engaging these ancient teachings of now, I call it, right? These ancient teachings that can guide us in these times to awaken to the infinite intelligence within, that infinite creative potential, and the infinite provision of life that comes to each and every one of us, prana and consciousness. Yeah. So literally, here's the deal. If you stay in an unconscious way of breathing, so for us as beings that strive to be empowered, we will focus on our breath and recognize when we lose consciousness of the breath. Because when we do, we automatically drop. This is a literal movement in the body. We drop to the medulla where the instincts are wired and the animal nature is wired, and therefore the survival instincts are wired, and therefore we're in an unconscious operating system of survival. And like oil and water don't mix, you can't be in survival and creativity at the same time. Now, you may figure out things when you're threatened, but true creativity is considered a quantum event, as Deepak Chopra was breaking it down. Like something existed that didn't exist before. You might be chased by a dog and pick up a bottle or stick and get creative with it. But the elements of the moment, they're there for us to interact with. But when you get really into your creative nature, you tap into a quantum field, and then you start manifesting with consciousness of the universe, which is eternally abundant, omnipresent, right? And you begin to expand, right? You expand into a solution without thinking about it, into an answer without calculating it with your mind. It just downloads as an inspiration, and boom, all of a sudden, you're writing a letter that you need to write. And you're sending that letter to someone, and that wasn't in their hands before, but you wrote that letter, got your feelings out. You got inspired to share your truth and your love. And now you're no longer carrying that weight. And at the same time, the other person, because it was written with compassion and it was written with consciousness, and now that other person gets to experience that consciousness and experience that compassion. Yeah. Not just a survival mode reaction of, you hurt me, why did you do that? I'm doing my best to forgive you. You dropped into a place that didn't exist before. That's called inspiration. That's called responding to intuition. And when we're in that physiological state of worry about not getting enough, neither not being enough, we're in that survival mode and we're not focused on consciously breathing, boom, that's where we're at. We're in an unconscious way of being in the world. And that will be governed by a structure that neuroscientists and psychologists call the mind. Yeah. If it was Carl Jung, it'd be the realm of the psyche. We'd be in that realm of processing data from the past. Yeah. We, as spiritually empowered beings walking on the path of life, now know, and we cultivate this knowing by practicing a focus on consciously breathing from the time our head, no, not even our head, from the time we become aware of waking up, of becoming conscious out of the unconscious slumber of sleep. As soon as we become aware, then we focus on our breath. How am I doing? You know, is it long? Is it deep? Am I holding on to my abdomen? You know, am I holding on to my breath? Am I breathing very shallow? What's happening with my breath? So take that on, as my mentor, brother and friend Tommy says, take that on as a love mission, to practice being focused on the breath. Because what does that do? That practices your focus on the moment where you have access to the infinite creative potential, where you have access to the infinite energy of prana and consciousness. So if we're focused on access and receiving, like fully embodying the provisions that are given to us to step into our higher centers to create with, then we have access to the feeling and the inspiration of creating in our life, of writing that book. I see you, Feline. Hey, now, it's our sister from Belize, y'all. We got our family from Canada too. I see you, Phil. That we step into our creative mode. We write the screenplay. We build the businesses. Why? Because we're focused on the inspiration coming in. The ideas drop in. And then we move into the ideas fed by the energy of prana and consciousness. So it's not about, oh, I don't have enough energy. Oh, I don't feel like doing that. Oh, I got to call that many people. Oh, I got to keep calling. You know, it's that. See, that's the mind dropping into the unconscious record keeping of the past. What feels good, what doesn't feel good. And all of a sudden, we're no longer present to the present of life, right? The present, the gift, the grace, y'all. Come on, the grace. The grace. That's something that is given to you, and you don't have to exchange money for it. You don't have to exchange, right? You don't have to have a bank account for it. You know, you don't have to worry about it. But there is some little component wired into the design of life by the designer of life, where if you now, so add this to it, okay? So let's add these layers of awareness. We've been given this ability to be aware now. So we've identified that we're either conscious or unconscious. And the magic key, different than magic, the abundant key, the abundant golden key, the abundant platinum key, you know, that will awaken us into consciousness is being conscious of our breathing. that will open the door to accessing our infinite creative potential. Yeah, it will open the door to accessing our infinite creative potential. And so then what? Then what? We have access, we have space, where things that happen in our world, right? There's things happening. There's, organizations that are delivering administrative guidance on how we should live our life, right? They're delivering all these things. And then we have people have opinions of that. And all of a sudden now we're no longer in our conscious state. We are unconscious because we are tied to the mind, considering past opinions and actions and history and all these things. And now, but when we're in a new moment, we're in a new time, we're in a new age. What is required of us in this new time, this new age, as we approach a new season? Summer solstice is approaching, y'all. So now's the time to get into choosing your food wisely, to drinking your water in abundance right now. Maybe your lemon water, to get your herbal teas instead of a dry snack, right? Dry snacks might be nuts or chips, or guac and chips, or guac and tortillas, or breads and butters and things. It's time to start releasing those and get into the leafy greens and get into the green juices and get into the superfoods and reduce the sugar, because it's time to work. Summer is the time to work, right? So here's where we get into the breath, right? And this is a simple breathing process, right? As we get into this breath. And I want you to really have a sense. It's a 4-stroke breath. So come sitting with your, how you doing? Y'all all right? I didn't check in on you. Ooh, Feline, I hear you. Yo, it's downloading for all of us, sweetheart. I'm doing my best to be a mouse. Now, hey, everybody, look, Feline and I go back to the healing ministry where she was a lab assistant that volunteered to help the community by helping the healing ministry deliver herbs, capsule herbs, So we have some real connection going on as an energy of synchronicity right now, because you still in Belize? She's in Belize, right? So let's center ourselves around this breath in our heart center. So we're going to place the hands together into a prayer mudra, but we're going to keep the Jupiter index finger extended as we interlock the rest of the fingers. This is the Jupiter finger, the index finger. We're going to cross the thumbs. I say go with what feels comfortable for you. There's some interpretations of yin and yang aspects, masculine and feminine positions, but I say we're all one. We might be in a male gender body, but expressing a feminine essence or a masculine essence, as well as in a female gendered body, right? Okay. So now let's close our eyes. And I want you to keep them about 1/10 open so you can look down to your nose. And you place the mudra just below your nose, so you can see the Jupiter fingers through the slightly opened eyelids. And we're going to inhale in 4 powerful strokes through an O-shaped mouth. Then exhale 1 powerful stroke through the nose. Takes about 1 second to get that exhale out, and 1 second per stroke. Now be gentle if you're on your cycle or pregnant. Make sure it's comfortable. And we're going to go one more cycle. Hold the air out a moment on that exhale. Inhale deeply through the nose. Hold the breath, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor as long as you're not on your cycle or pregnant. Hold the breath. Let that prana and consciousness permeate through every cell. See every cell start to glisten and glow and smile as you smile. Sip a little air. Let the process of this intelligence and abundance of respiration go into every cell. Exhale through the nose. Now, inhale, bring your arms out and make a T squared shape. Hold. Really stretch your spine up, stretch the arms away from center. Sip a little air. Be like steel. Make your fingers strong, your arms strong. Feel your strength. Exhale and relax. Shake the arms out. Thumb and index finger together. Sit in this stillness, sensing what the experience is like when you consciously breathe, consciously activate the body and engage it with your consciousness, commanding it to move into this mudra, touch this finger, stretch the arms out. When you consciously move your body into conscious practices that open you to the abundance of prana and consciousness. What is the inspiration coming to you? What is intuition and inspiration and consciousness calling you into being, into doing, into thinking, into believing? Carry this into your week. I will email this practice. If you want to continue, maybe we'll put a little YouTube up and an Instagram story. So it's beautiful that we are such an intimate circle. So if you have any questions or you have something that you would simply like to say, please, excuse me. We have a few minutes where we can touch, connect. And if you don't, I want to read you something about the breath. Yay, I hear you. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we want to read this. This is the first line of the Lord's Prayer, a transliteration. And I want you to see if you can imagine yourself, as we did last week on the banks of the Nile with the Essenes, learning about these ways of embodying the oneness of ourself and our source, and feeling that oneness. That's also a love mission now. As you go out into the world, see if you can feel the oneness as we slip out of the awareness of duality and divisiveness. See if you can sense the oneness. So even in the crazy opinion, what can you find as a way you are being called by the universe into your ability, into your will to be compassionate, maybe, or loving. So the first line of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic is Abun de Bweshmaya. Abun de Bweshmaya. Abun de Bweshmaya. In English, it is Our Father which art in heaven. The transliteration of just that line is the great parent of creation, or birther, mother, our birth in unity through the mother, father, right? Or the great parent of creation that dwells at the center of its creation. Can you imagine? Our Father which art in heaven. Imagine Adam and God, and the fingers don't touch on top of the 16th chapel, right? But here they're saying like, hey, the mother father is in us and we are in the mother father. So listen what they say. I want you to hear the inferences and the indications of the power of the breath. And I want you to know that. So as you go into the week, we're going over a little bit. I hope you're all right. But that you can sense the importance of paying attention to the sound of the breath, the feeling of the breath, as well as sensing the breath bringing you consciousness and prana, because all three are very powerful. And when you open up your body, moving it and moving your blood, your nerve impulses, and your lymphatic system, then you open up the subtle channels that give you access to your superhuman abilities. And then we can create this world guided by love, right? Rather than what we have stimulating us to create today, right? Okay, here we go. Oh, birther, mother, father of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. O thou, the birthing life of all, creator of the shimmering sound that touches us. And what is that? Hear the sound of the inhale. There's your shimmering sound. Hear the sound as you exhale. There's that sound, that vibration of being free to let it go. Respiration of all worlds. We hear you breathing in and out in silence. Source of sound. In the roar and the whisper. In the breeze and the whirlwind, we hear your name. That's this idea. Hallowed be thy name. The next line, like we prepare, now that we hear your name, we prepare the space for your name to dwell. Come on now. Radiant one, you shine within us. Outside of us, even darkness shines when we remember. So here's where we can create space in our life. We can create space in our life rather than our life taking up space in us. See, there's a world out there for us to create, but it begins here. And we get a chance to spend time with these beings of life, right? The being of prana, the being of consciousness versus being with the mind. And the mind is going to use the past. And all of a sudden we're feeling things that we felt before, and we can label them as not feeling good, or we can label them as feeling good. We're saying as spiritually empowered beings, we're not getting seduced by the good or the bad. We're in love with our beloved, giving us the sound of the silent potency, the prana and the consciousness, so that we can vibrate and create. Check it out. Name of names. Our small identity unravels in you, and you give it back as a lesson. So we exhale our small identity. Hear my voice? That's my small identity. But then we inhale, right? And you give it back as a lesson. So we can be inspired by what we say. If I say to you, hey, family, keep me on point, check in with me about the book I'm writing called The Divine Experiment. This is it. My life is a divine experiment. Yeah, I put it out there. Now I can breathe it in as it comes. You bring it back as a lesson. So try that out. You know, exhale something that you've been inspired to create and see how the creator brings it back as a lesson. So
Yeah.
our topic today was about moving out of fear into grace. And what moves us is the breath. The breath is the way to calm the mind's fluctuations, the way it thinks from the past, and move into the present to receive the gifts of abundance. So you are focusing on consciously breathing throughout the day. There was one other love mission. If you remember, write it down in the chat. Now you're also listening to what you are releasing and how you can consciously release so that you can consciously let the creator, the designer of life, bring you the inspiration, as I demonstrated talking about the book I'm writing. What is it for you? Right? You calling on that abundance? Are you calling on health? All right, call on it. Like I'm calling on that feeling and then feel it. I'm calling on that feeling of balance in my body. I'm calling on that feeling of strength and energy in my body, of clear mind and perfect endurance and efficient production. I call on that, right? And what will forgiveness and creativity? There you go. You call on it. Let it unravel. Let it release that into the hands of our creator, into the heart of our creator, and see you bring it back as a lesson. What will return? What will strengthen us, teach us about the power of who we are? All right. So let's end our time today with a chant that acknowledges our true self. We're going to activate this next week. Sat, truth, S-A-T, Nam, that M again, right? That M is bringing up that vibration, that A is producing and channeling from the N, Nam, the sound current, that is our identity, yeah? Our identity, like Sat with truth, Nam, right? That identity with truth. So bring the hands in prayer position. We're going to chant it one long time and pray out. Pressing the thumbs into the sternum, feeling yourself as that vibratory chamber. Keep reminding yourself that you are a vibratory being. It'll sound like this. Sat Nam. Inhale with me. Begin. Sat Nam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Creator, for allowing us to gather today, for allowing that peace to flow in such a way where balance creates stillness and we awaken to your voice unfolding in ours, to your inspiring thoughts and the design of our being that is able to express with infinite creative potential. Thank you so much for giving us everything we need to do the things we want and everything we want to do the things we need. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you. Thank you for our life, and may all beings find answers and solutions to the problems they face, and the energy and abundance that draws to them to support manifesting those ideas for all our family and all our relations. All right, family. One love, one love. And now we'll see you next week. Same love channel. Same love time. Okay. We'll see you soon. Until then, one love. And stay conscious of your breath. Peace.